welcome. How can I help? You'd like to book a trip? Well, I can certainly help you with that. Where were you thinking of visiting? London and Paris? Wonderful. Have you been before, or is this your first time? First time? Okay. Well, I can make some recommendations for you if you would like. Things to do, places to see. Okay, perfect. So let me get you signed up onto our system. So what's your first name and last name? Okay. And your address? Okay. Is that with a Y? Okay. Lovely. Got that. Perfect. And what's your budget for this trip? Okay. Alright, lovely. So for London and Paris, when were you thinking of visiting? What time of year? The autumn, okay. So were you thinking early autumn, kind of September time, or later in the year? Okay. It's a lovely time of year, yes. Okay, perfect. And how long were you wanting to go for? About 2 weeks? Okay. I think that's the perfect amount of time because it's a long haul destination for you. That'll give you plenty of opportunity to do some sightseeing and visiting of all the attractions that you want to see, and also give you time to relax and rest. Okay, good. So let's have a little look here. Were you wanting to visit London first and then go to Paris? Okay. So because it'll be a long haul flight to London, may I recommend that you travel with soft-spoken airlines? Have you flown with them before? You haven't? Okay, well they are our preferred airline of choice, and we have an exclusive partnership with them, which means that all of our clients fly luxury first class. So you'll have your own exclusive suite on board, access to executive lounges, and of course fast track through security and check-in. They also have a private concierge service, which means that you'll be collected from home and taken to the airport, so you don't have to worry about traffic or parking. And you'll also then be collected from the arrivals at your destination and taken to your accommodation. So let me have a look and see what we have available. All of the staff on board with Soft-Spoken Airlines have been trained to deliver a very specialized ASMR flight experience, so you really do get the best in treatment and luxury. So let me have a look at availability for you. Okay. So we have a flight that will be departing during those dates when you wanted to travel, and that means that you'll be arriving at London Heathrow Airport at 6 a.m. and then you'll be met at the airport and taken to your hotel. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put a reserve on this flight for you and bookmark it for later, okay? There we go. Lovely. So in terms of hotel, I have a wonderful hotel recommendation for you. It's 5-star accommodation, one of our leisure and luxury hotels, and it's overlooking London's Tower Bridge, which is of course iconic. So let me show you a picture. So, this will be your view from your room. So you can see the iconic view, the landmarks. That's the Shard in the distance. And of course overlooking London's Thames River and all of the iconic buildings as well. Okay, does that sound nice? Okay, good. So let's have a look here and see if we can get you a superior luxury suite. Of course that includes breakfast. Okay. Perfect. So while we're on accommodation, let's have a think about Paris as well. So, were you thinking of flying to Paris from London, or were you open to another type of transportation? Have you thought about taking the Eurostar? It's a wonderful way of travel. So, you'll be departing from London King's Cross station and hop onto the Eurostar. The travel is about a total of 2 hours and 20 minutes, and then you'll arrive in Paris at Paris Gare du Nord station. Okay. So we could set your departure for an early morning train and have you in Paris in time for a leisurely lunchtime. Does that sound good? So, let's have a look and see. Yeah, that's definitely available at that time. Okay. Perfect. And then for your accommodation in Paris, may I recommend one of our favorite hotels. You have a magnificent view from your window in your balcony of the Eiffel Tower, of course, which is an iconic Parisian landmark. Would you like to see a picture? Okay, let's have a look. Let's see. So this will be the view from your room, and as you can see, there really is no other view that could rival such a beautiful location. Okay, so let's have a look and see. That will be one of our superior rooms. Breakfast is included, and you also also have access to drinks that are served in the evenings as well. So let's have a little look. You really can't beat either of those locations for hotel accommodation. Okay. So whilst you're in London, there is so many things that you can do and see. So I have a couple of suggestions for you. You don't have to remember them. I'll write them all down for you and send them over in a follow-up email. Don't worry. So because you'll be staying around Tower Bridge area, what I would recommend is that you walk across the bridge, which is an iconic experience in and of itself, and take a visit to the Tower of London, steeped in history. Of course, it wouldn't be a trip to London without a trip to Buckingham Palace. I'm sure you might have seen it in the news recently with all of the festivities. Okay, so Buckingham Palace. And if you're a fan of the foodie and cultural scene and you want to explore what London has to offer, you'll be spoiled for choice. But as far as foodie markets goes, I highly recommend Borough Market. You can find every type of food imaginable, and it's a wonderful, pleasant experience, a lovely day out. So definitely recommend Borough Market. And another market that I would recommend is called Leadenhall Market. You may have heard of it, or you may have read up about it. It's certainly been around since the 1300s, so it has a lot of history. And Leadenhall Market was actually used as one of the locations in the Harry Potter films, so it has a nice link if you're a fan. Okay, so Leadenhall Market and Borough Market. So one of the things that I would recommend that you do whilst you're in London is to have a traditional afternoon English tea. And one of my favourite places to do that is at the Ritz. So yes, you get tea and cakes, scones, sandwiches, all sorts of things. It's really, very lovely. So I'll write that down for you as a recommendation. Of course, there are many other places where you can have an afternoon tea. You don't have to go to the Ritz. The Wolseley is another that does a really lovely tea. So, okay. You can decide. Yes, that's fine. Okay. So it wouldn't be a trip to London without a visit to the Natural History Museum. It's one of the most exciting places to visit in the whole of the city, and that's my opinion. So I highly recommend that. Let me show you a picture of the Natural History Museum. So you can expect to see all kinds of fascinating things. And it's a lovely, lovely destination where you can pass a few hours of the day. And just for your records, this is a photo of the iconic Leadenhall Market that I was mentioning earlier. So that market has been around since the 1300s. So lots of history to explore. Okay, so that'll be a few things to do and see in London. So of course there's plenty of opportunity for fine dining whilst you're in London as well, but I do highly recommend at least one of the foodie markets, such as Borough Market, at least once, so that you get a taste of the variety of cuisine that's available. Okay, good. So, would you like to see a West End show while you're there? Yes, well, it's spectacular and one of the best ways to spend either an afternoon or an evening, because you can do a matinee performance as well. So let me make a note. West End performances, and I'll send you a copy of the latest productions that will be on during the time whilst you're there. So if you need some help booking tickets, you just let me know, okay? I can do that for you, no problem. So when it comes to things to do in Paris and attractions to see, to visit, did you have anything in mind? Yes, so you'll be staying nearby the Eiffel Tower, so I highly recommend that you visit the actual structure. So you can either climb up the Eiffel Tower with using the stairs, or you can take the lift. It's entirely up to you as to which you would prefer. And the views from the top are absolutely spectacular. And of course there is a restaurant at the top of the Eiffel Tower should you wish to have some food and drinks. Okay, lovely. So I recommend whilst you're in Paris to take a leisurely stroll down the Champs-Élysées and head all the way up to the Arc de Triomphe monument. You can climb up to the top of the monument as well and enjoy some magnificent views of the city from there. It's a really beautiful location to get fabulous photographs of Paris if you enjoy that sort of thing. Okay, lovely. So, Arc de Triomphe, and whilst you're walking up the Champs-Élysées, of course, it's a lovely opportunity for a bit of shopping if you fancy. Okay. So, Champs-Élysées, good. So, of course, a trip to Paris wouldn't be the same without a visit to the famous Louvre. The Louvre, you've heard of it? Wonderful. So as part of your travel with Soft-Spoken Airlines, we can arrange for you to have a free pass so that you have free entry. Would you like that? Yes? Okay. Lovely. So let me just make a note of that here. Okay. So the Louvre is a vast space. There's so much to see, so many things to enjoy, that I recommend making a note beforehand of the specific works of art that you would like to see first, so that you make sure that you get to see them, and then you can spend the rest of your day either wandering around and enjoying the art, or you can stop for lunch, anything you like. It's definitely worth it, definitely. So one of the other places that I highly recommend that you visit whilst in Paris is called the Musée d'Orsay. Have you heard of it before? Let me write it down. Musée d'Orsay. Okay. So this is a wonderful place to visit, and your entry will also be free. And in my opinion, I believe they have one of the very best collections of paintings from Vincent van Gogh. So it's really, really worthwhile visiting for the experience. Okay. Good. So of course, French cuisine is world famous, and there are plenty of restaurants that I could recommend to you for tea and cake, or perhaps just a light break, a light lunch after visiting museums. I highly recommend the coffee shop slash patisserie called Angelina's. So there is an Angelina's at the Louvre, and they make the best hot chocolate worldwide. That's my opinion, of course, but I highly recommend that as a little insider tip. Let me write that down for you. Okay. Angelina's. Okay. So another thing that's really lovely to do is to take a picnic in the evening and to sit in the gardens and enjoy the view of the Eiffel Tower as it lights up and sparkles at night. So one of the best places to gather a picnic is one of the foodie markets, and it is called the Marché Bastille. Marché Bastille. Let me write that down. Marché Bastille. Okay. So this is one of the most iconic and famous food markets in Paris, and you can get a wide variety of delicious foods, bread, cheeses, those sort of things. So it's a lovely idea to pack a picnic and then to enjoy the evening with a view of the Eiffel Tower. Okay. Lovely. So, okay. There's so much to do and to see in Paris as well as London. You can also do something such as a river cruise along the Seine River, and then to stroll back along the left bank and just enjoy all of the artists and the booksellers, all of the stalls along the river. It's really beautiful. It's a lovely way to pass the time. Okay, so I'll write that down for you just as a suggestion. Good. Okay. So let me show you a picture. So this is a picture of the famous Louvre. So this is the outside, and of course this is home to very, very famous artworks, including the Mona Lisa, of course. So here's a picture of the Arc de Triomphe. So this is a wonderful walk up to the top where you'll get absolutely magnificent views of Paris. Highly recommended. let me add some images to your notes just so that you can remember. Okay, good. Lovely. So that package is ready and available for you. Would you like to purchase today? You would. Okay, lovely. So because we bookmarked the flights earlier, I just need to return to that page. There we go. So those flights are all confirmed and booked for you now, as is the Eurostar journey from London to Paris, and your return tickets as well. Good. Okay, that's all booked in for you. So hotel accommodation has been confirmed and booked. So I've also sent you the information that we discussed about the things to do and attractions to see whilst in London and Paris. So just take your time and have a look through those and see if anything appeals. And if you need any help booking any tickets for anything, just let me know and I can do that for you as well, okay? You're very welcome. Okay, so would you like to pay a deposit today or in full? You'd like to pay in full? Okay, perfect. And how will you be paying? Credit card? Lovely. Thank you. We take those details from you. Okay. So, just put that into my system. Okay. And security. There we go. Perfect. That's perfect. There you go. Thank you so much. So that's all confirmed and booked for you. So I've sent that all over to you to your email, and there's nothing left for you to do except to get excited about your wonderful trip coming up. You'll hear from me when it's about 2 weeks before you travel. I'll just remind you of all of your details and send you copies again of your tickets and your accommodation, that sort of thing. Okay. So any other questions that you have for me? You're so very welcome. Thank you so much for coming to visit today. I hope you have a wonderful trip. You're welcome. Okay, see you again soon.